Okay, choose a paint, analyze the paint, and then create buildings that represent the ideas that you have found in this paint. This is an example of the students' work. Then the students analyzed the projects and created a sort of meta design by a real model. And then from here, using example of real architecture, they will have to create their own design. So they use our system to find contents, and as you see now, the students found these projects of Maximiliano Fuchs's by using this path in the vocabulary. So conceptual design, project queue, and flexible adaptable, because and another dynamical moving dynamism. As you remember, the paint was dancing lessons, so the movement was very present. Another reference that the student found was these projects that feature the characteristic of radiality, but also feature the characteristic of being strong, because as you can see, from outside is very massive. And also this project represents the idea of movement, of dynamism, but also it is sort of transparent because each layer is made of glass. This is the first step of the final design of the students that, as you can see, features some of the characteristics of the architectural projects he found. This has been used inside architectural design, but I think it can be used also inside art design. I've been professor of urban design inside the Fine Arts Academy of Arts in Venice, and one of the tasks I asked to students was to create a paint according a text of Italo Calvino. I don't know if you know Invisible Cities of Italo Calvino. It's a collection of a short story about cities, and that Marco Polo is supposed to tell to the Emperor Kublai Khan during his visiting in China. This is part of a text. Whatever Ermilla is the name of this fantastic city, it's not a real city. It's like this because it is unfinished or because it has been demolished. Whatever the cause is, some enhancement or only a whim, I do not know. The fact remains that it has no walls, no ceiling, no floors. It has nothing that makes it seem a city except the water pipes that rise vertically, where the houses should be, and spread out horizontally. And I asked the students to create their own vision of this brain. And of course, they use Google to search for examples. These paints are not for my students. I forgot to bring them, but these paints you can find using Googles. And if all the students use Googles, they all find these contents, which are the first you find. If a collection of paint perhaps would have been tagged with the different taxonomies, and students can have access to these collections, they can find more and more examples and increase the possibility to create their own paint. I close this presentation with another suggestions. This is our last work in what we do in our university. It has nothing to do with museum, but perhaps it had to do with sort of creating a digital representation of something that exists in reality. This is a laser scanning of the city of Feldre. So this is not a picture. This is a real 3D model of the whole city. And you can see that through these techniques, you can create a virtual representations of what exists in the reality, and you can navigate inside the city. It's similar to what Google does with Street View, but Street View are pictures. This is a real 3D model, and on this 3D model we can, attach or collect informations for example, of each buildings. As you can see, this is a thermal camera view of the facade of the buildings, because in this project we wanted to study the thermal dispersion of the walls. And so we attached this on the facade. But you can collect any other information on these objects. For example, what we want to do at Final is a sort of website where you can navigate it, explore the city, and ask to the system to give results or information about each object. In this case, you can retrieve information about energy consumption, but you can have information whatever you want. So you can attach information about the history of these buildings, construction date, styles, etc. And also this can be a suggestion that can be used in the field of museum network or represents objects. So to conclude can we consider this queues as new challenge for digital archives of art? And I think it can be a suggestion to start the discussions. Last thing, I showed you these pictures. It's my pictures and of a sculptor we did during our first meeting of the main projects in Ancona. We were in the beach and where we were discussing features of the projects, and while discussing, I built this building with stones, and it has been an icon of our projects and also a challenge to go to grow. Okay, thank you, and if you have any questions.
Are there any questions? You may ask in, okay, go to Harley.
I just wondered if the last project you showed is available online somewhere, or if there's information about it, the 3D rendering of the walled city.
This one, you mean?
Uh-huh.
It's still an ongoing project. I can send you some more information if you want, but the idea is that at the end of this year, so we will have to go online with this. So now we are creating a model that can be used via web, and so yes, it will go online.
I'm interested in the model, but I'd really be interested in seeing the specs for the project itself, just what it is you tried to do and sort of the scope of the project.
Yeah. Okay.
If you want, you can ask in mentoring. We have online, we have an interpreter there to help do the translation. 你们可以用中文问，没有问题的。我们有 online speaker 呀，请 online interpreter。
那想请教那个江泽老师。
Translate.
就是说他这个用点云做的这个3D 模拟建模这一部分，中间这一棵树，因为我们一般点云在做建筑的话，可以做很细微的这个测量的动作，可是这